any point. I'll be checking the chat too, so you can type in your questions there, and we'll get started. The recording, I heard that Google Meet's having some recording issues today, so I'm hoping this records. So welcome, and I think it took attendance. I think we're good. No, doesn't want to show me. We'll say it did. Put a little hello in the chat. That way we're sure. There it goes. Now it says recording. So this is our workshop on Buncee. It's not a mini workshop. We're going to do a full-blown hour where we're going to explore the wonderful world of Buncee. Buncee is one that I kind of stumbled upon several years ago, and I just fell in love with it. And what you're going to see is just some of the things that I use Buncee for. I'm going to share some ideas with you, and I'm going to show you how to get to some resources. But Buncee, when you think about it, is, you might use Google Slides, or you might have used Canva, or you might use Adobe Spark. Buncee does all of those things that those companies do, but they add another layer to it that really keeps it engaging for students. And I think it's accessible to all students. And I'm going to show you some of those features and how they kind of work as we go through and we build on Buncee. So I'm going to show you a few things. If you want to design as I'm designing, you're welcome to. If you just want to watch, that's absolutely fine too. But we're going to show you how you can use Buncee in your classroom. For those of you that concern yourself with this, which makes sense that you should, it is EdLaw 2D compliant. It is not a full free tool to use. It is considered a freemium, which means you can create up to 3 Buncees for free. After that, they require you to go paid. Before I had the paid account, what I would do was create my 3, use them, and then I would download them, delete them off the Buncee site, and then create others. But they've added some other features that really make the paid version just that much better. So we're going to show you some of those and kind of walk you through it. I will tell you that I work with a lot of edtech companies, and Buncee is by far one of the best companies to work with. They're very engaging. They're very interested in feedback. They're very receptive. So if there's something that, like, there's not an image of something that you're interested in, you can request it, and usually within a couple days they'll have that image made for you. Like, I don't remember if it was, I think it was the mic drop. I had a student that was asking for that, and I just contacted them, and then they had the mic drop, and they have some of the other things in there that I think that's what it was that I had asked for, but they were able to add it, which is pretty cool. They add almost daily new images. I think they said there's something like 30 or 40,000. I might be under numbering that, different assets that are available for you. They have a huge announcement for summer coming out right after this. They said they're releasing it at noon. So watch for that if you're on Twitter or Facebook or even on their website. I'm sure they'll blast it there too in their blog, because they have a whole new summer program to get you and your students creating. It's for everybody. It's not just for your students. So they have some new things coming down the pike that might be of interest to you. So you all know me. I'm Lori Guion. I had mentioned that I am a Buncee ambassador. I'm also a Buncee leader because I've been an ambassador for so long, and I do some things with them, just through the ambassador program with training and videos and that sort of thing. I'm a certified educator. They have different levels. They do give a lot of badges out. So I'm a Buncee legend. I'm a Buncee superstar. There's a whole page of just badges that you can get with Buncee that you can then use to kind of sticker yourself up if you like badges as much as I do. So what is Buncee? If you've never used it, Buncee is, like I said, it's a creation tool. It allows for a lot of multimedia, and it allows for free form creation. I use it a lot for presentations. I use it a lot for templates, for calendars, for weekly schedules and monthly schedules. I use it for anything that I normally would want an image for, but I want an interactive image. But there's so much more you can do with it, and I'm going to show you some of the ways teachers are using it throughout the world. And I put some cards on here just to kind of show you some of the things that they kind of think about what Buncee can be used for. It definitely can be used for journaling, for pen pals, for flip learning. They have a whole section just for librarians, so multimedia specialists are near and dear to their hearts. Different writing assignments. I've used Buncee as young as 1st grade. Kindergarten could definitely figure it out. I just haven't yet with them, and I've used it all the way through different programs, or different levels. So you can use this at any level, and I'll show you some examples of that. So when you're building your buncees, and that's really what we're going to focus a lot on today, is actually building buncees. But what you can do is add a lot of different things. And usually I walk you through each of these individually and kind of show you them. But I thought I would show it to you first, and then we can go on the platform and play around. But you can add text. They have maybe 15, 16 different text types that you can use, that you can recolor and shape and all those kind of things. They have shapes that are your basic ones that you'd expect there to be, like arrows and stars and squares and circles, that sort of thing, that are all fully functional as far as color changes. You can draw with this. So if you ever have to have, if a student ever wants to draw something, they can draw right on the platform. And it's not a robust drawing tool. It's not like Procreate, which is a very robust drawing tool on the iPads. But it's enough for students to kind of start to draw some of their shapes, or to change certain things, or to add to their buncees. For example, I was doing one with a second grade class. We were doing animal research projects, and they wanted to create a nest that a wolf might sit in or sleep in, and they didn't like the ones that were on there, so they created their own. They just drew it. And I didn't even have to recommend it. They just figured it out on their own to do it. It has 3D images, and what that means is that those images can then be manipulated. So I'll show you some of those. I thought I put one on, but this one's not. So I'll show you how those kind of work. They have the animations. That's where you see like these blobs that are kind of floating around, and then the little Buncee man that's kind of walking here. They have all sorts of animations that are built in, so you don't even need to bring in your own GIFs. They're already built into the platform. There are stickers, and I'm going to show you all of the different categories of stickers that they have, but they do categorize it by type, or you can just search by keyword. Or if you're like first graders, you just kind of scroll through till you find the one that you like. So you can do it any way you'd like there. Buncee message are going to be words that they've already designed for you. So like the word create, or around holidays, like for Father's Day, they'll have some Father's Day ones. They'll have hashtags that are kind of trending on Twitter. So they'll put them together in more creative, colorful ways for you. They have emojis, and they're not the emojis you're used to seeing on your phones, or when you use, like when you're in Gmail and use those emojis. They're emojis that are kind of cutesy as far as the Buncee look. So there'll be emojis with Buncee Man, or with, this is one of their emojis for space. So they'll have all of these different ones. They have monsters and letters and different things that have faces and emotions on them. You can always import anything from outside into a Buncee. So you're not limited to what's on their platform. You can bring in any web image. So anything that you would normally search within a Google search, you can do through their search right within Buncee. They use Pixabay, which is supposed to be safe and secure for students. And it's also, Pixabay only has items that are license free, so you don't have to worry about citing your sources. You can add in 360 images, so that way you can create a Buncee in a 360 environment. And as you scroll around to different parts of it, you can build different parts of the Buncee. I won't spend a ton of time on that today, but it definitely has some great value that's there. If you use Khan Academy, you can bring in their lessons and kind of tie it into Buncee. You can upload anything you have on your computer, and I'll show you how that looks. If you are into the whole Bitmoji phase that's going on right now, where people are building their classrooms, you can build your classrooms on Buncee a lot easier than you can on Google Classroom, because it already has all the images for you already on the site. But it also, you can upload anything you want. So you can upload your Bitmojis to here. If you use the remove BG to take out the backgrounds and bring them onto your Buncee, it's going to look pretty seamless. So it allows you to add anything you want. You can import any link. You can record a video right within Buncee, and I'll show you how that looks. You can take a photo within Buncee. And these are free response questions, multiple choice questions, and QR codes. So you can set this up as like a way to kind of do a quick check-in, or even a quiz if you really wanted it to be that way. I've used the multiple choice and free response for, I was doing an Earth night, and the students had to go around to different stations, and then they answered a question, either a free response or multiple choice based on that station, and the QR code would bring them to the Buncee that they needed to answer that question. And then they had this record of all the work that they did. So there are different ways that you can use those features. These are paid features, the free response and the multiple choice. The QR code is free. That one is allowed. Khan Academy is a paid feature. There's a couple of them, and I don't know all of the ins and outs on that, but that's something that when you start your account, you'll see which ones allow and which ones don't. So we're going to actually play with all of these. We're going to build a Buncee together, and then I'm going to answer any questions that you have on Buncee. But I wanted to show you what it was and all the things you can add before we actually start building. Any questions before we start building here? Can you provide the share link for the class? Yeah. So you want the link to the Buncee you're talking about? I can give you that.
Thank you.
Here we go. So I'm giving you a copy of the Buncee. And what's neat about Buncee is if I go into settings, I can make this copyable. So then you can make a copy of your own and have it to use any way you'd like. You can do that right away. You can comment on it. You can view it because I'm giving you the link. I'm giving you the code to it. I can also, if you use Buncee, I can actually share it with members of my class or other Buncee users. I can email it to anybody that I'd like to, and then I'll show some of these other ones later when we get into it. But here is the link to the Buncee that I'm using today. So, perfect. I'll just quickly do attendance again to make sure it works. Okay. Buncee, there we go. Okay, so let's, I'm going to exit out of full screen here and go into the edit mode. Oh, hey, look at that. I can actually announce it here because I didn't know that they were going to announce it before noon, but it just came up on my screen, so I can talk about it. If it's here, I can talk about it, right? So now Buncee has added this, this one activity thing that's happening, and it's starting today. So if your children love badges and they love unlocking things, so think of it like they're going through a quest and they start to unlock different things. Buncee is doing that within their platform to get students ready for the summer. There are over 80 different things they can unlock. So obviously this is something that if they go on every day, it's going to continue to keep them engaged. The way the animations are unlocked are through parts of a story. So it's going to have this long drawn out story throughout the entire summer that's on there. So you're going to be able to see your activity and rewards on your dashboard. You can unlock the animations and then find them right in your media library, and I'll show you where that's going to be. And then you can always see your progress as you're going through as far as how you're doing on the challenge. I'm so excited that this happened while we were on. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm in the actual dashboard, and I'll show you what one looks like starting fresh, but I want to show you one that I'm kind of working on right now so you can see what it looks like. So I took it out of the preview mode, which is where we were to be able to show everybody. And I moved it into the editing platform. The editing platform always has your slides on the left, and you can hide that. So I can hide the pages or show the pages. So just like you have, like if you're thinking Google Slides, it's that film strip view. You always have it over on the left for you to take a look at. You can always rearrange your pages. I left 2 blank ones in here that we're going to work with, so I can show you that you can move them and do different things on them. On the right-hand side is your items, and they remind you at the top. So they have pages, and then they have items. On the right-hand side are the items that you've added to your Buncee, and we're going to add a whole bunch of things. Again, you can hide that if it's in your way, or you can bring it back in. So you always have that on the right. At the top, you name your Buncee, and then you can always get help if you need it. You can always preview it, and this is where you get your share button. The far right is your account. So when I click on it, I can see my profile and awards. I can see any information regarding Buncee. And this is where you can get all of the resources you need. So if you want to find out more about Buncee, you'll see that they do a lot with Microsoft Teams. Like right now, you can add Buncee backgrounds into Microsoft Teams, and it does some really cool integrations with the animations working and such. So if you're a school that uses Microsoft, Buncee is definitely a great one for you. They have a whole web page that they set up for remote learning with lots of resources, activity ideas, templates, blog posts, everything's out there. The Ideas Lab I'm going to show you later. I'm going to show you the live trainings later and the blog. The staff picks are going to be ones that they are like, hey, somebody made this, isn't it cool? They have resource kits to help you out. They have clips. They have the address book. You can send your RSVPs, and I'll show you all those as we go through. Okay, again, at the top of my screen, I had pages. I have my undo and redo buttons. I have settings, which I've never touched, but just know that you can choose whether or not to turn on and off different things. The Immersive Reader I'm going to show you. The web accessibility, I've never really looked at that, so I'm not really sure. You can shut off the watermark. So that way, if you don't want the watermark on your images, you can do that. I don't even know what TTS means. I'm sorry. Maybe one of you do. You can put it in the chat and let me know. And then the stitching, if you allow it, then people can take your Buncees and then stitch it together with theirs. So it allows you to kind of copy and paste and put different parts together. So you can choose how that looks. The Resize Canvas, if you choose to do it after you've created, it will make your page a little messy. So I recommend you pick your size first before you start. But you can do a Buncee size, which is the same as a Google slide. You can do a square, which is more like what you'd see on Twitter or Instagram. You can create banners. So that would be like your ones for Google Classroom, for Wakelet, for your Google Sites, anything that you would normally, or even your Google Forms, you can create banners. A letter is going to be your 8.5 by 11 standard page size. You can make a business card, playing cards, or you can even choose your custom ones based on what you need for your image. So like I made the calendars earlier this year. I was trying to stick to the Buncee size, but I found I need a little bit bigger. So I changed it to custom setting to make it a little bit longer for myself. So you always have those options. You also can reset it if you'd like to. You can zoom in. So if you're working on an area, you can zoom in and really see that area. And then you can put on panning so you can move around. So if you want to zoom in on a little area, you can do that. All right, let me put it back to 100%. All right, so that's your menu that you see at the front, at the top. Now at the bottom, I have options based on what I have clicked. And this is very similar again to what you see in Google, where when you click on different things, so if I click on the text right here, a different menu comes up. If I click onto the background, a different menu comes up. It's always going to change based on what you're using. So I can move the background. So if I had changed this to a square, I can reset the background to be where I want it to be. And I'll show you that when we do a blank one. I can change the background. And when I click on that, I can bring myself out to all of the different backgrounds that are available. Newest ones always come up first. So I actually use some of the new ones. That's the space ones you see here. But you can see as I scroll through, I can see all the different ones that have been added probably in the last 2 weeks. And then I can go on from there. But on the left-hand side, I can go to the web. And you'll see it says powered by Pixabay. And I can find any image on the web. I can do it based on just a basic color, whatever color I want. I can upload my own from anything on my computer. The trending is if you were using this in the schools and a lot of people had access to it, you would see what's trending based on what you've been using. For me, it's only trending based on what I've been using. So it's going to be the same pretty much as the recently used to some extent. So you can see some of the different ones that are in here. Recently used are going to be ones that you've personally used recently. So you can see those. The newly added are going to be just what you always see at the top. And then they have categories. So all of these are categories of backgrounds. So you can see they have tons of different ones based on what people have requested and based on what they have created. They just create these different categories for you. And you can see it goes on, all the way through the alphabet here. So you can see all the different backgrounds. From here, I'm in the background. I can also change the opacity. So let's say I'm using this background, but I want it to be a little lighter. I can change it to be anything I'd like. So I can brighten it, darken it, whatever I'd like it to be. And I can keep it that color. So you can always have that adjustment within your images that you have. I can duplicate this if I want to do something else with it. If I'm done with it, I can delete it. All right. So let's go to a blank page. So this is a blank page. I put a background here. If I want to change the background, like I said, I click change background. I can put in a keyword. I often do by color. So if I'm doing purple, I'll put purple in and look at all the ones that come up in purple and pull from there. Or maybe I want something with a character on it. So I can do bird and I can grab these. This one actually, I'll show this one real quick. My daughter actually took this picture and she submitted it into their student contest and they picked that one as one of their backgrounds. So that one's kind of cool. Proud mom moment there. But you can pick anything you'd like to be one of your backgrounds. So I'm just going to grab this one again. Maybe that wasn't the one I had, but we'll just use this one. Okay, so I've got my background. I'm happy with it. Now you'll see I get this circle in the center that says click to add your first item. I can click here or I can click on the far right where it says items. I can click that plus. So I'm going to click on that plus, and then everything's going to come up on my screen. I can add in text. So I can say text can be different colors, sizes, and fonts. Okay. And you can literally just drag it in and out depending on what you'd like. If you click away from it, the font can be moved without having to try to hover like you do in Google Slides. You don't have to hover to get that different cross to be able to move text. Here, you don't have to do that. When I have it highlighted, but I haven't double clicked it yet, I get a different menu than when I double click it. When I just have it highlighted, I can delete it. I can add audio, so I can add my own voice to it. I can change the fill color, so maybe I want the background to be orange or something along those lines. I can change the opacity of that color, whatever I'd like to do with it. I can copy it, I can duplicate it. I can change the order, so if I want it to be forward or backwards, I can do that. Again, I can drag it out. When I double click, I get a totally different menu. So here's all of the different fonts that you can choose from, and they recently added a bunch. So let's say I wanted this bold one, because I think that's not what I picked for the other ones, was it? Yeah, it was. Okay. So that's what I have on the other slides, is the Peyton one. I can pick the text color to be anything within the rainbow. I can pick my hue color, whatever I'd like it to be, and choose it to be that color. I can change the size. I can change it to be bold or italics, you know, underlined, whatever I'd like it to be. So let's just say I'm going to put this at the top. Sometimes I like to shrink my menus so I can kind of see where I am to get it through the whole length here. I'm going to move it all the way to the top. I'm going to double click, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so it's one full line. And then I'm going to shrink it down. All right. And now you're going to see I have this bar at the top. I put I highlighted the fill color. I put the text in. I don't think I changed the color. So let me do that again. Let me just pick a color. Let's do like a bright purple. Nope. Can't see that one. Let's go darker purple. There we go. Okay. So you can see that you can add font. You can change it around, do whatever you'd like with it. Now I'm going to click on the items tab again on the right, and I'm going to click the plus. Inside the shapes, I have all different shapes I can work with, and you're going to see all of the ones that they have here. And all of these shapes are fully editable. So let's say I grab this square, because that's a pretty basic one. And let's say I wanted to put a little, you know, menu off to the left of my screen. I can stretch it out however I'd like it. I've got this black line around it and the white fill. The border color I can change. So maybe I want it to be that bright orange again. And then I can change the opacity of how much you can see. So I can even have it be completely blank in the center, but make it be a transparent box, or I can have it be a filled in box, however I'd like it to be. All right, I can move this box anywhere within the screen that I'd like it to go. I can change the size. I can, you know, layer it if I wanted it to go behind the other part. And I can change it to go in the back. So you can see you can do all of these different things with it. All right, so I've got this shape. I'm just going to shrink it down that I can do something with. Now, within the box, in Google Slides, when you use boxes like this, you can double click and write right in the box. Here, I'd have to add text over it. So I'm going to just leave this box for a moment and come back to it, but I just wanted to show you that you can change the different colors and different things. So I'm going to change that center of the box maybe to purple, but I'm going to change that opacity again. So we've got that there. All right, change that opacity a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to click on the plus, and I'm going to go down to drawings. Now, art is not my thing, but so this would not be something that I typically would choose to use. I don't use the drawing, but sometimes you might need it. And I've done it to take out, like if I've ever cropped something and it made something funny, I've done it to color it in white or black or whatever I need to kind of change the picture. But right now I'm in the drawing tools. When I click on draw at the bottom, I have delete, I have draw, erase. I can change my brush size to be anything I'd like. I can change my brush color to be anything I'd like. Again, I can change that opacity. And when I'm done, I'm going to click the done. So in here, let's say I wanted to draw a triangle. Doing the best I can on my trackpad. There's my triangle. All right, so I drew within there. I drew my triangle. And you could write anywhere on the screen. So you can just see I'm just drawing there. If I don't like that, I hit undo, and it'll make that part go away. When I'm happy with it, let's say I want to keep that triangle, I hit done. And now that triangle stays there. And, you know, I have this image that stays wherever I drew it. It's not something that's movable or anything like that. It just stays where you put it. Okay. 3D images. So 3D images look kind of like a regular sticker, but they look different when you put them into present mode. So I'm going to go down. Again, you have categories on the left. I have the newly added. I can see recently used. I can see the ones that are trending. So I can take a look and see different ones that are available that way. Or I can go through the categories again. So maybe I want to look at fun ones. Maybe I want to grab him. And you can see all the different categories there. So maybe I'm going to put him sitting inside this box with the triangle. And I want to show you what happens when I put this in preview mode. So whenever you go to preview mode, it always goes back to your beginning. It doesn't go to the page you're on. So let me just go back here. So now you can see that he turns and he has motion. So I'm going to add a planet so you can see how cool this could be that way. But you're going to see that if it's a 3D object, it spins and it moves. And you can even grab it and spin it yourself. So students can manipulate shapes when you use that tool. So I'm going to go back to edit. Go back to that slide. I'm going to grab another 3D tool.
To play or no?
Can you say it again, Rosina? I couldn't hear you.
Add music to play like throughout the slideshow, similar like Powtoons, or no?
You could add in audio to each slide, but not one that would continuously play on each slide.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. All right, let's grab, I wanted to grab a planet, so let me grab it. And I could have grabbed it down the side. I could go down to science and do it that way, but I knew they were close by. So I'm going to grab this one. Looks like maybe the moon. All right. Again, I'm just going to make it big so you can see it. And I'm going to put it in preview again. And what slide was I on? I should remember the number. That way I can make it easy on myself here. 6. Okay. So now I've got this moon. So they're spinning. I can see them. You can see how the stars are spinning around, and it just adds a whole other layer to your image, but you're seeing it in 360. All right. So you can see that view. You can still click and drag it.
Lori, another question.
Sure.
Is there a way that you can upload like your Buncee? Let's say the internet is down or whatever the reason might be. Can you download your Buncee once you're done, or upload it to like YouTube or something?
You can do whatever you'd like with your Buncee. You can download it as an image, as a PDF. You can upload it to a Wakelet, a Padlet, whatever you'd like to send it to. Yep. And you can use it any way you'd like. The thing is, if you have it as a link, it needs the internet to go back up to that link. If you download it as an image or a PDF, or you save it as like a GIF, so it's a little clip, then yeah, you have more functionality with it that way. Right. Okay, so that's your first column. Second column, your Buncee animations. These are, and this is where those new ones are showing up. See where they are right here. So I can take a look at my creativity challenge and see the different ones I can get. I'm so excited that they're there. All right, so you have that section there. Now you can also go to trending and see the ones that people tend to be using. And that takes a little while to load. So you can see different ones in here that people have been using recently. Newly added is always going to show the newest ones. So they just did a whole ones with physical fitness. So that's what you're starting to see as the recent ones. And then you can see all of the categories again down the left for different things that you might be thinking about. All right, so you can always search it that way. Or I can go up to the keyword here and I can type in space. And it's going to show me all the ones that relate to space. One big thing with the keyword one is it doesn't like multiple words. So if I said space cowboy, it'll say, yeah, I can't find it. But if I put in space or I put in cowboy, it's going to find something. So just know that you want to use one word. And you can see all the different animations that they have that are available for space. So I'm just going to let's grab this little monkey guy because he's cute. I'm going to make him bigger. All right, so you can see that you can layer this so it looks like he's coming out of different things. So I might make it big enough that he's going to come from one end of it to the other. And don't worry about stretching here where you can pull different edges and it kind of distorts it. That doesn't happen as much on this as it does like in Google. So, so you can certainly work on it any way you'd like there. So let's move him here just so I can show you other things. So those are animations. The stickers are exactly what you saw with the animations, except they're flat images. So they don't move. They don't have any motion. They don't spin. They're not 3D. They're just regular images. So the Buncee badges is brand new. That just happened today. So I can see all the badges I've received and all the ones I still need to work on. I can see which ones are trending, just like before. And then I have all the same categories you saw over in the animations. I'm going to see here, as well as some other ones on the left-hand side for different categories. So like if I was doing a historical project, I can go to the history one. It has famous people, images that you might use for doing history projects, that sort of thing. You can see all the different famous people that they have character-wise that they have in there. So you can look through each of the categories and kind of see everything they have. All right. Here again, I can put in a keyword. All right, and then I can grab anything I like. So they've got Buncee Man on a box of Cheerios. I can grab any of these space ones. Let me just grab this one here. And then once you have the images in here, let's say I like this, but I want her facing the other way. When I highlight her, you'll see at the bottom, I have the option to flip, so I can turn her. All right, so I can have her face different ways. And you can do whatever you'd like with her. You can make her as big or as small as you'd like, depending on whatever it is you're looking to do with that image. All right, I'm not sure where I want to place her. I feel like I needed to put her on something. Maybe I'll put her on the planet so it's more like she's up there. Okay. All right, so that is stickers. Buncee messages, like I said, are words. So they're going to be different things that are happening, you know, as far as times of the year, like teacher appreciation, they did a ton for. Mother's Day, obviously. They did a ton for, they had a whole trending Twitter chat with Heart While Apart. You know, they have Stay Safe. They did a whole hero section. So they're adding in all of these different ones based on things that are trending, you know, digital citizenship. I actually requested more digital citizenship ones, and they added a few in here because they're wonderful like that. When Australia was having the fires, they created some ones for Australia. So you can see all the different ones that they've added in. I can still do the same thing and go down the left-hand side and look at the different categories. So if I go into like education, I can see like they have Student Voice Day, which just happened last month, all the digital citizenship ones. If I scroll down, they have tons for each subject and lots for library, that sort of thing. And then I can go through and see all the different ones that they have on the left. All right, so if I grab any of these, so I'm just going to grab hero just so I can move on. You put them in, again, you can shrink them down, change them up. I can change the opacity of them. I can flip them, although if you flip them, they'd be backwards. So you can do anything you'd like with those images. All right. And then we'll go over to the emojis. So the emojis, like I said, are just different pictures of things. You can see they're really cute. On the left-hand side, again, you have all your categories. So you have candy. You can see the Buncee Man ones. They did Cluck Kent, which is like a little bird. They have Dino Dad. They have words that have different ones on here. So maybe we do thinking and throw that out there. So they do give you some different character words. You can think of all different activities you can do with these kind of words to teach emotions and to teach thought and that sort of thing. So you can do that. You can shrink it. You see, when I shrink it this way, it still kind of keeps it. It's not like it stretches it weird when you do different things like that. I can make them longer or shorter. So you can do a little bit more organization with it. So we'll put that by my little Einstein guy here. All right, in the center are your web images. So here, let's say I was doing space. You're going to see your pictures on the web just like you did before, or just like you would on a Google search. 360 images, again, if I put in space, it's going to show me images that are 360. So I'm just going to drop one in just to kind of show you what one could look like. So let's do this Titan rocket one. So I'm going to show you what happens with this in 3D. And you could put these as your backgrounds. You just have to stretch them out to be your background. So I'm going to leave that on there. I'm going to hit preview. And then it's going to ask me to actually click on that image to be able to make it go live. So here we go. It says click to load it. And then when it loads it, I can then move this in 360 degrees. So if I built this as my background, then I can put different icons and images on it, and you'd see it as you're going through that image, kind of like a thing link would do. All right, so you can see how that works. I just keep moving them over so I can give space here. All right, so we'll shrink him down, move him over too. Okay. The next one down is Khan Academy. I don't really ever use that one, so I would assume if I click math, I'm going to see different videos that I can pop in, and then students can watch the videos and then answer questions based on how you set up your lessons. Uploads are anything from your computer. Anything you've ever uploaded saves in your images. So anything you want to grab, I can grab from the left and pull in different pictures. So, you know, I can do whatever I needed to do from the left-hand side for different things. So you can pull in any pictures that you'd like. So here, like I have a picture of my dog. I can bring her in as my picture. All right. So you can do that sort of thing. I'll delete her out. Okay. So that's uploads. The next one is an import a URL. You're just going to put in a link. So it could be a video. It could be, you know, a Vimeo, whatever you're going to do. You can bring in your YouTube videos. You can bring in a web page, whatever you'd like to do. You can also link anything you have on the screen. So when I highlight like hero, I can always put a link on everything on here. So I can add that on. Okay. Next one down is recording a video. So when I click on that, what it gives me is 3 minutes to record a video live. So even though I'm in the meet and I'm already recording that, I'm going to hit click recording here. It's recording me right now as I'm talking, and I can say, welcome to the wonderful world of Buncee. This is such a great resource for your classroom. You can do some pretty amazing things with it. When I hit stop, I have the MP4. There's no editing tools, it's not Flipgrid friendly like with all those different things. When I click upload, it's going to upload that video immediately for me onto the platform, and I can keep that video in there. All right. It's telling me I need to fix my posture looking at that picture. I can also take a photo. There I am. All right. So I can drop that in. I can change it into a circle. I can rotate the picture if I wanted to. I can crop it if I wanted to, you know, change out the edges. I click save and upload. It will save that picture forever in my uploads, and you can put that picture right onto your screen. So what's great about this is you can crop your face a little bit and then put yourself, like in the astronaut, you can put yourself in the helmet and do that sort of thing there. Delete me out.
Is this as well?
I'm sorry? Say that again.
Is this an app too? Does it work good on the iPad?
Yeah, it's great on the iPads. It has its own app there. It works pretty much the same. There's a little bit different in the functionality, like the text. It works on the keyboard instead of being a separate kind of space. So there's some things that are a little different, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. The free response, you can say, you know, what do you know about Buncee? Question mark, hit save. And I'm going to leave that here. Same thing with the multiple choice. You type in your question and your choices, and that would come up on the screen. All right, so I delete that one. And then the QR code, if you put a QR code on your screen, it will take anyone to this Buncee. All right, so you always have those different layers. So I have got a lot going on the screen, but let me just put it in preview mode just to show you. This would not be a pretty Buncee by any means. But just I wanted to show you all the features. And normally you wouldn't use that many features on one screen. So here's how it looks when people are looking at it. They can see the rotating images. They can load that panorama. In where it says, what do you know about Buncee? I can type right in that box. I'm not in edit mode. I'm in present mode. It just gives them that text box to write in. So, you know, sometimes you want to do labeling activities. Great way to do that is to do these through your open response questions. So you can do that there. That video that I made will play. It's recording me right. All right. This QR code, if you scan that, would bring you to this entire Buncee, not just the page, the entire Buncee.
Lori, if you shared this presentation with the children, would they be able to, like, you see their individual responses? How does that work?
Yeah, so if you shared this and you had these open-ended questions in there, the students can answer those questions. They wouldn't be able to edit your actual slide deck. They would only be able to answer the questions on it. If you want them to have the full slide deck, there is and I'll show you that in a moment, but on the dashboard, there is a Buncee class that you can send copies to each student.
And then the answers come back like in a spreadsheet or something?
They stay right on the Buncee.
Oh, and for the multiple choice, you can plug in the correct answer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you choose whether or not they find out that they're right or not right away.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep. Good questions. Any other questions? I will keep going then. All right, so that's a really messy Buncee, but let me just go back to a blank one here, and I'm going to put in a text box. And I'm just going to grab some text from somewhere. So I'm going to go out to, you know, fun facts about space. All right, and I'm just going to go to this Mashable one because I just want to copy some text to show you something here. So I'm going to grab this paragraph here about Neutron Stars. So I'm going to hit copy, going back into the Buncee. Don't recommend you do this typically because this would be breaking copyright without linking it back, right? So I'm just going to change this font to be white so you can read it. And I'm going to put this into preview mode. Now, anyone who knows me, has done any class with me, you know that I absolutely love Immersive Reader. And I want to show you, for anyone who's not familiar with Immersive Reader, how this works. So now I've got this paragraph on here in present mode, and I'll go full screen so you don't see anything else. In full screen, you're going to see that I have an icon. Oh, let me change the background color because you can't even see that, can you? Hang on. This is where you got to make it visually appealing for everybody, right? So go back in here. I'm going to change this. Oops. I'm going to change this back to a dark color. I'm going to change my background to just be white for a second. Okay. Just so I can show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go back into that preview mode. I'm at what, slide 7, I think? Yeah. Okay. So right here in present mode, I'll go full screen so you can see it full screen here. When I float over towards the words, I have 2 options. I have one that will read it to me.
Neutron stars are one of the possible evolutionary endpoints of high-mass stars.
Always built in.
They're born in a core collapse supernova star explosion and subsequently rotate extremely rapidly as a consequence of their physics. Neutron stars can rotate up to 60 times per second after born. Under special circumstances, this rate can increase to more than 600 times per second.
Okay. The other option here is I have this book, and this brings me out to Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader is always built into Buncee unless you shut it off. So here you can read it.
Neutron stars are one of the possible evolutionary endpoints.
I can change it to female.
High mass stars.
Go faster.
They're born in a core collapse supernova star
slower.
explosion and subsequently rotate extremely.
Okay. I still can change the text to different sizes, so I can change it. So I increase the space between. I can change the text size. I can change it to 3 different fonts. I can change the contrast depending on what your students need. I can also separate it by syllables. I can also highlight all the nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and even show the labels of it. I can use the picture dictionary. So if it has a word that has an image to it, you can see that some of the words have them, some of them don't. I'm trying to find one that does. Here we go. Started. So you can see it has a picture dictionary built in. You can also convert it into 67 different languages. So let's say I want to go to Tahitian today, and I can do it by word. So I click on that, and it's going to show me the word on some of the languages, and that one doesn't. So if I go to Spanish, let's say, and I click on the word, it will read it to me.
Estrella.
In both English and in Spanish. And I can certainly do the whole document and convert it over. Let me shut off all the grammar stuff so you don't see all that. Make it easier for you to see the way it's changed the words. I can change it from Spanish back to English, and I can convert it back and forth between the 2 languages. And like I said, if there is a picture, it will also show the picture. So that is always built into Buncee on an end page. I heard a ding, so I'm going to see if there was a question. Yeah, it is nice. The other thing you can do, if I go back to edit mode, I could record my voice. So let's say I wanted the students to read this, but I don't want them using Immersive Reader, and that auto recording may not be my favorite. So if I click on this, you'll see that I have an audio button at the bottom. When I click on audio, it's going to record my voice. It's recording me right now, and I could read this to them, saying neutron stars are one of the possible evolutionary endpoints of high mass stars. All right, so I can hit record and do that. Neutron stars are one of the possible evolutionary endpoints of high mass stars. Isn't that amazing? All right, so as soon as I'm done, I click upload, and now it's going to put my voice on those words. So your students can do this and add their own voice to what they're doing, and you can have them read whatever they have or explain what they wrote. So now when I go back to that page 7 again, you'll see now I have this other button on top of it. Stars are one of the possible evolutionary endpoints of high mass stars. Isn't that amazing? So now I can add my own voice to it instead of having them do their voice. All right. So that is some of the things you can do on Buncee. That is a big beginner, like that's great. That's what's there. Let's take a minute and look at the dashboard for Buncee. because I want you to see kind of what that part looks like on the beginner side. And then, you know, we're coming down to the end of our hour here. So Buncee, when you first start, will be blank. You can see I've done over 1,000 Buncees because I love it. I do it every day. You can always click Create New Buncee. And when you click on Create, if you have the paid version, they're going to show you all of their templates. So they have all of these categories of templates. You can pick it based on a category. So if I go to education, arts and music, I can see all of their different ones they have for each category of or every subject, whatever it is I'd like to do. And when you grab one of these and you click on it, you can see all the different pages that it has. I can say use this template and I can just use that right away. If I don't want that, I can just go to a blank one. Here's where I said I can resize that canvas. So I click change that size. Now I've got a square. And when I pick a background, so maybe I put in blue today, maybe I'm feeling blue. I can pick whatever color or whatever picture I want that's in that blue category. And let's say, I'm just gonna pick a basic one here. No, I wanna pick one that has like parts on it. Here, let's do this one with the guitar. So when it first loads, it doesn't have the guitar on it, but maybe I picked it because it did. If I click on Move Background, I can slide that background over, and now I've got my guitar on there, and then I can start to build. So you always have the option to do that. That's your dashboard when you create a new one. I put mine in folders, so I have all different folders based on categories. You don't have to, they could all be open, but I was getting overwhelmed with all of mine, so I organized them that way. Anyone who shares one with you, you're gonna see you're shared with me here. At the top, you can set up classes. So you click on new class, you give it a name, and then you create it. Once you create it, you can list your students in there. You can assign Buncees to them. You can see all of their work on here so that it all comes back to them. Any assignments that you did will show up here. You can send this link to Google Classroom. All the work will be housed within Buncee. Under Buncee, again, you can categorize it and see all of your Buncees and create. They also have Buncee boards, and I'll show you, this is the one I've been sending out with the parent newsletters. So what you do is grab those links to all of your Buncees, and the Buncee boards will hold all of them for you. Under the Buncee boards, you can also subscribe to others. So other people have been doing these really great Buncee boards during remote learning. So I subscribe to them. So like this one, the You've Been Virtually Booked. Every week or so, she puts out a new list of books for students to read on Capstone. And then the students can do an activity based on what they've read. So you can see the directions and how to do it. And each of these links right to the book. So you can see different ways that you're doing, you can use it. Another group of teachers put together one to celebrate our heroes, and they're asking for you to add your own and then share these with your local police departments and fire departments and emergency response people. And then you can add your own and then you can share them to say thank you. So you can see all the different ones in there.
Lori, if they're shared with me, could you change it or no?
So if I shared this Buncee board with you, you can add to it if it allows you to. So it depends on how you set up the board, whether or not people have access to it. The Buncee that I shared with you, wherever that went, I lost it now. Oh, I went out of it, didn't I? I'll go back to the dashboard. The Buncee that I shared with you, I allowed you access to make a copy, but not to edit my own. You can't have collaborators on here like you can with Google Slides. So I did a collaborative one with another teacher. I think I put it in my presentations folder. So what I did is I created my Buncee, and then, so you see there's two here. I created my Buncee and then I sent it to her, and then she added to my Buncee, and then we used that one. So I have like two copies of it instead of just one. That's how we kind of worked around that, that shared one. So then this one, I think this is the one. Yeah, because we're both on here. So you can see that we were able to kind of work on it together. We just did it through two separate Buncees to pull it together into one. If you have the stitching on, you can also, if you say you make your slides, I'll make mine, you can stitch them together as well. What other questions do you guys have on Buncee? It's pretty amazing. No other questions? All right. Let's see what else I can share with you. Let me go back to this one here because I did put some resources on here to kind of finish up the day. Okay, so we went through the beginning. we created on some, we made some pretty ugly looking Buncees there, but we can go back and fix those. And then when you're getting started, this would be my suggestion, just 3 different ways you can start using Buncee. One is if you're using with students, have them create an all about me slide. So, and create your own first. And what you can do, and I'll show you this Buncee. I did this like in 10 minutes. So this is a quickie one. But what they can do is this, I made an augmented reality scene using 3D Bear, and I uploaded of some of my favorite things. All right. So I just kind of created that. And then I just used text to put 3 different things that I love. All right. So you can have your students do that. And I usually do this as my first Buncee because it allows students a chance to search things that they like. So if I went into edit on this one, I used a plain background on this. So let's just put a blank one here. I'm going to add a blank page. I'm going to grab a beach one because I love the beach. And then what the students would do is they would use this search box at the top. They wouldn't even pick a category. I would just say search things that you love. So I might say dolphin. All right. And then I'm going to grab this dolphin and I'm going to put him in the water. All right. So it's going to look like he's splashing in the water. All right. So then when I put this in preview mode, and the students can do this, they can go through and just pick their different ideas and then they can build their scenes. So the dolphin's one of my favorites. How cute is that? Okay, so you can do that one. Another way to use Buncee is to start using it yourself. So I've used it to create lessons. I click on it. Oh, did I not put the link in? I did. I think I hid it under the other thing though. Hang on. So this is what happens sometimes when you layer too much. You have to go back and move this out of the way because I guarantee that has the link in there. Yep. Okay. Back one more. Okay. So now when I click the link, there it goes. So this is one I did with kindergartners where we built a Lego challenge. And this was the step-by-step directions that I actually gave the teacher to say, this is what we're going to do. And then I went over it with the students. I also use it a lot for making templates. So one school was looking to do a hero project based on characters they had read. This was like their summary assignment. So I created this template. We actually uploaded this to Seesaw to use it on there. So they use this as the background in Seesaw. Other resources that are available to you, and it's free for you to look at, is the Ideas Lab. It's a link to a bunch of different lessons. There's 600, it says here, but there's definitely more that are being added. I was just on a call yesterday, and they said they have a ton of teachers who have sent in some lessons. They just have to get them on. But these are all teacher-made lessons, or they were made by Buncee, and they'll tell you, like this one at the top here, who it was submitted by. So if you have one that you like as a template and you wanted it to be on here, you can submit it to add it to the Ideas Lab for other people. You can narrow this down by topic area, things that you've bookmarked. Like I love this dramatic structure, rewrite your story one. I use that one a lot. You can filter by grade levels, anything that you'd like there. The blog is a very active blog. Some companies have active ones, some have less active ones. This one is definitely a very active one. So you can see it's almost every couple days they have a different one that's out there. All about that Buncee rewards that you were first to hear about today is listed here. They have one that Mike Thelson from Microsoft Teams did that's here about putting your backgrounds. And you can see all different ways to use Buncee on their blog. And then they also have a video page where you can learn more. So you can learn training from some of the greatest people from Buncee. Buncee is, by the way, a New York company, so you definitely want to support them. They're on Long Island. But they have some great lessons in here for you on creating a Buncee, sharing your Buncee, navigating the dashboard, and so on. So there's a lot more to it than I showed you. And this is going to show you some really fun ways to use it. Like I didn't even get to invitations and that sort of thing. So that's on there as well for you to have. And then I put out some examples of ways that I've used Buncee, but you can certainly go out to that Ideas Lab and see tons more. For example, in one class, we brought in drones and we gave students a copy of this Buncee. This was more of like a lesson. So we read this to them. We told them what their task was, and then we assigned roles to them. And then the students had procedures and what they had to follow. They had some questions they need to answer in their journal. They did them in their journal versus on the Buncee itself. And they had to actually fly drones in their classroom. For teacher appreciation, I made a, nope, wrong links there. Sorry. I will fix that after. Let's make sure this one's right. Oh, they linked all the same. It happens sometimes. I'll fix that. I copied and pasted them in, but I'll fix all those links because they're all wrong. But I will fix those links afterwards to show you those different ones. Sorry about that. But really, it's a great website for you to use for any projects. You know, you can have a lot of fun with it. So any last questions that you have for me? I will go back to that Buncee and fix all of those links. What happens with Buncee, and I'll share this with you so it doesn't happen to you what happened to me. When you link within the same text box, it thinks that you want to keep it within that text box. So you're better off putting each link in as a separate text box, which is what I'm going to do because I have to go back and find all those again. So that's why that happened, because I did them all within the same text box. All right. Well, it sounds like you're all good. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Buncee. Get creating, get on there every day, earn your badges, and reach out if you ever have any questions.